Hi, Desiree. Can you guys hear me okay? I'm having I don't really know what's going on. I don't know, this is being weird. Sorry guys, bear with me one moment. Oh my gosh. Bear with me, guys. I promise I practiced this and now it's just being strange. Give me a second. Give me a second. Let's see if we do it this way. Oh my gosh. Bear with me, guys. I promise I practiced this and now it's just being strange. Give me a second. Give me a second. Okay, maybe we can't do this full screen. Maybe that's the issue. Bear with me, guys. And again, I apologize. I've literally done this a million times. And of course, when I'm going live, I'm having technical issues. So I apologize for that. Let's see. So yeah, maybe I can't go full screen. And that's the problem. Hey, Desiree, if you're still on here, I'm going to text you. Guys, bear with me. Thank you so much for your patience. Uh-oh, what did I press? Technology, I tell you. Why is it still stuck on the screen? And y'all are going to see these slides that I made. So this needs to work because I worked really hard on these slides. So if you can just give me a few minutes just to see what is going on here. Because it worked during all my test runs and now it's being janky. Okay, give me a second, you guys. I don't know why it's not showing you guys my screens, all my slides that I worked so hard on. Why won't it work? What's this? Okay. This is so weird. Guys, I'm so sorry. Give me just a few minutes. I don't know what's going on. Oh, this is my face. And I don't know why it's not letting me go through my presentation. All right, guys, we're going to figure this out because, like I said, I worked really hard on the slideshow presentation for you guys. So it needs to happen. So let me try one more time. If not, let's see. Hold on, guys. Desiree's being an awesome tech person, and she's helping me do stuff. All right, I think I'm just gonna have to, we're just gonna have to get started, or because Hangouts is trying it today, and we have to get started. So let's see. All right, guys, I'm gonna try this one more time. I think we should be able to move through the slides. Right, and if you see this going back and forth, it's just because I'm testing it. I'm trying to figure out what's going on. Because I've done this a million times, so I wouldn't have any issues today, but you know, that's how it goes sometimes. All right, bear with me, guys. Whoa, whoa, whoa. All right, guys, give me 2 more minutes, and we're gonna get started with or without these slides, even though this is being so mean to me. And again, I probably. Okay, give me another minute. Guys, thank you so much. I'm still here. If you think your computer screen is frozen, just give me a second. Because y'all are going to see these slides that I've been working on. So just give me, I'm just trying one last thing. If this doesn't work, we're going to have to go on without the slides, and you guys are just going to have to stare at me for an hour. So let's see. Bear with me, guys. Again, I apologize. Technology is not my friend today. And there's also the hi, Tawanda and Delcy. Sorry, guys. This is being so extra right now. All right, guys. I don't think we're going to be able to use the slides, which is making me really sad because I worked so hard on them for this presentation to be beautiful and be very visual for you guys. But I don't know. It doesn't look like it wants to cooperate with me. So I don't think I'm going to be able to share the slides. And I don't want to have you guys sitting here all day. So if you guys do want the slides, I can always email them over to you in case you're not able to take notes, or maybe it just won't go full screen, but that is just so weird. Whoops. All right, guys. Let's see. We're going to get started. I'm not sure what this is going to look like, but I believe you guys can hear me well, so that's most important. I don't know why it's stuck on this one screen. All right, so let's just do this. All right, guys, so hello. Thank you so much for your patience. Thank you for joining me on this Sunday afternoon. I know you guys could be doing a million other things, but you are here hanging out with me for my very first webinar. Thank you so much. So welcome to Wake Up and Live, and I created this webinar to help you manifest and map out your best year yet. And I'm going to try to, switch the slide and see what happens and see if you guys can see it too. If not, I'm sorry, guys. I apologize. Okay. So I'll go ahead and introduce myself before we get in the thick of it. If you're not familiar with who I am, maybe you're here because your friend made you come, or you found a link on social media. But I wanted to quickly introduce myself. My name is Janelle Adams. I'm a wife and mom. I'm also what I call a purpose-powered lifestyle blogger at bellejanelle.com, where I share how to be intentional in lifestyle and motherhood. It's been named a top South Florida fashion blog by CBS Miami, as well as a top beauty blog by disneysbabble.com. However, all of the, oh wait, you're seeing that? Okay, hold on 1 second. I'm going to try to do this full screen. I apologize, guys. Someone's telling me that it's working for them, so I just want to make sure we're all on the same page here. And again, I do apologize, but let me keep going. Where was I? Okay, so I do a lot of fashion, a little bit of beauty. However, the backbone of my blog are the personal stories that I share, as well as creating relatable self-help content that you can use in your everyday life. Let's see. Oh no, she's seeing the other thing. I'm sorry, guys. I think it's just going to be stuck on that one page that you guys are seeing. So I apologize for that. So yeah, I'm actually in the process of rebranding a blog for the new year, and I'll be creating even more high quality content focused on providing inspiration for your life, your style, and or rather, I'll say your mind, body, and style. That's really what I'm looking to do. So I can't wait to share that with you guys in the new year. I also run a small business called Jolie Bloom. It's an eco-luxury, sustainable personal care brand, and I created that in memory of my late daughter, Jolie, and the company is about a year and a half old, and it's been quite the journey for me learning how to be a businesswoman and just jumping into it feet first. But we've so far we've been named a 2015 must-have by actress Tori Spelling. We went to the Oscars earlier this year to participate in one of the gifting suites and hang out with celebrities. That was a lot of fun. And most recently, we were in the November Curl Box Body, which was awesome. One of my favorite things we've done with Jolie Bloom is a pop-up shop that we had in Brooklyn, and we donated some of the proceeds to March of Dimes, which is very important to me because my daughter passed away from being born prematurely, and they're an organization that helps to assist preemies in the NICU, as well as try to prevent premature birth as much as possible. Other than that, I love Jesus. I love Steak and Shake, my family, my friends, and Target. That's pretty much it. Pretty simple, girl. So as we go through this webinar, I'm sure you'll learn more about me. However, this whole thing is about you. So I want to get started and see how I can assist you with flexing up for the new year. You know what? Maybe, like I said, since we're not going to be able to use these slides, we'll just, you guys are going to have to get me, I think. So I apologize, but it should be good. All right, guys. So, oh no, I do need the slides so I can see what I was talking about. Y'all, technology is just so terrible sometimes. It really is. Give me 1 second. And okay. All right, so we're gonna start at what I call the foundation. And basically, or rather, let me reverse a little bit and tell you why I decided to start to do this webinar. I named the webinar Wake Up and Live because that's exactly what I want to encourage you to do. A lot of times we're living our lives on autopilot and we're just going about our day. We're not checking in with ourselves. We're not doing any self-evaluation. And then it's like a few years go by and we're just like, how did I get here? Not realizing that we've basically been asleep, even though we're technically alive, if that makes sense. We're basically existing instead of living and thriving. I know I've had periods in my life where I'm like, what was I even doing during that time? And that's mainly because I wasn't that focused and I didn't have any real goals. So nothing, it kind of seems like I just wasn't doing anything. I was just kind of floating by through life and not really doing much. And the second reason why I created this workshop is because we're at the end of the year, which is typically a season where we tend to be reflective. And if there's at least one time in the year where we do check in with ourselves and see where we're at, it's usually during the holidays as we get into the new year. And that's when everyone starts the whole next year's my year, new year, new me thing. Only to find ourselves having to set the same goals year after year because we're not accomplishing anything. And sometimes that makes us feel bad about ourselves, but there's no reason to feel like that you're less than because you haven't really accomplished anything. And to be honest, you know, we're all on different paths. Timing has a lot to do with things, and we can't really watch other people. But hopefully after today, you're going to set your intentions with a whole new perspective so that you can start to make some progress in your life in the things that you really want to do. So, you know, for example, I know for a really long time, every year I would just write down just random goals. You know, I think I should lose weight, so I'm just going to go ahead and write this down. I think I should accomplish that, so I'm going to go ahead and write it down. But we're not intentional about it, and we're just writing down random things thinking that we're going to do it when there's no follow through, and we're just all making a bunch of empty goals sometimes. And then there's the other group of people who they knock out everything they say they're going to do, and then even when they do accomplish all those things, they still feel unfulfilled. You know, it's kind of like those of us who think that once we lose weight, we're going to be so much happier, or once we get a certain car, we're going to be so much happier. We just have these unrealistic expectations of what's going to happen when we achieve our goals sometimes. So I hope that once this webinar is over, when you do create your goals, you're setting intentions for yourselves that are based on your core values and are authentic to who you really are. Additionally, if you're in a season of your life where you feel stuck, where you feel like this is it for me and things aren't going to get better, I want to show you how to push through that, because you're amazing and more than capable of having the life that you want. There's just one thing that separates people who are wishing from those who are winning. And you should be able to find out what that is by the time we're done here. So if you do want to take notes, you can do that. I was trying to assist you guys with slides, but again, it doesn't really look like that's working out. So we're just going to go ahead and get into it. Give me one more moment. This computer is haunted. I swear to God. Bear with me, guys. Who can I talk to at Google about this? Because when I practiced this a million times, I had no issues, and now I'm live and Google Hangouts wants to act up. So thank you so much for being patient with me, everybody. But I have some really good content for you, so it's all good. Where are we? Am I sharing the right thing? Maybe not. All right, let's not share that, because that's wrong. All right, guys, give me 1 second here. Now my screen share button doesn't want to work. I mean, honestly. All right, so am I going to have to go out of each slide? Is that what it's doing? All right, so we're going to start at the foundation. Because if your foundation is shaky, you're eventually going to crumble. 90% of the excuses and lies you've been telling yourself about why you can't do things are going to be null and void by the time we're done with this section. So the biggest gift you can give yourself is to make peace with your past. You also have to take full responsibility for where you are today. Where you are in this moment is a culmination of a series of choices you've made over your life. Right? So let's talk about the past for a moment here. And I know you're probably like, you know, we're here to set goals for the future. Why are we talking about the past? Well, that's because a lot of us use our past as an excuse not to move forward or not to do great things. We allow our past to hinder us, and that's why we're not pushing through and reaching the levels where we want to be. You know, I can't be successful because I don't have a dad. I can't reach my goals because I was bullied in school. I can't do this. I can't do that. You know, we all have these excuses that we use to make ourselves comfortable in remaining in our current situation. You know, because we do tell ourselves lies so that we can remain stagnant. And I'm sure, I don't know, does anyone else do that? I'm sure most of us do. Um, but, you know, when you're making those excuses, um, all you're doing is stunting your growth. You're not pushing yourself forward, right? So stop using your past and your current circumstance as an excuse not to be the greatest version of yourself. We've all had struggles that we're working through. Everyone has a story. Don't use yours as an excuse not to be great. Experiencing trauma or struggle doesn't make you unique or exempt from fulfilling the purpose you're meant to achieve. I'm here to tell you that in order for you to be successful and move forward, you have to take responsibility and you have to push through. And I say this with love, you guys. A lot of us have this mentality that we're the only ones going through stuff, or we're the only ones who have experienced trauma, and you know, God is picking on us. We have it harder than anyone else, and we're just out here being victims and again using our excuses as reasons why we're not pushing forward. Stop telling your story so that you can be a martyr or so that people can feel sorry for you. If you're telling your story, you need to be telling it in a way that's empowering other people. Otherwise, you're just doing the whole woe is me thing, and you're not getting anywhere. You're just feeling sorry for yourself. You're having people feel sorry for you. And at the end of the day, you're still going to be stuck. And of course, there are circumstances and personal tragedies that we can't avoid. However, we choose to deal with the tough moments. We choose how we deal with the tough moments in our lives. Everyone has a personal struggle. However, it's our choice. Keyword here is choice, whether or not we are the victim or the victor, right? So in the introduction part of this, I mentioned that my daughter passed away after being born prematurely. And that was the toughest time of my life. It was so hard. Um, I went into a deep depression, and, you know, the entire experience was extremely traumatic for me. I wasn't feeling well for a few days. I went to the hospital maybe 3 times. The last time that I went, they told me that I had a bladder infection and sent me home. They sent me home all 3 times. The last one, they gave me this diagnosis that I had a bladder infection and it would pass. And I went home. I was in so much pain. And within a few hours of leaving the hospital, my water broke very suddenly. And I was at my sister's house, and I mean, we just all went into a panic because we weren't, expecting anything like this to happen. And so my sister is on the phone dialing 911, and the baby, my water broke, and the baby started coming out almost immediately. So my sister's on the phone calling 911 and telling them what's happening, and excuse me, and I was basically on her couch. Not basically, I was on her couch, in labor, pushing out my daughter, who was born into my husband's hands. And the EMTs came, and they came very quickly, and they took the 3 of us to the hospital. And I was put in the recovery room, and my daughter was taken to the NICU. And unfortunately, after a few hours, she took a turn for the worse, and then she eventually she passed away. So that was very traumatic. It put me in a very dark place, and that's why I can tell you with certainty that if you do put in the work, you can get through anything, and you can use these life-altering moments to propel you forward instead of using them to hold you back. The way I look at it, losing my daughter is not an excuse for me to not be the woman that God put me here to be. You know, it's been a few years. My daughter would have been 4 this past summer. So I've had time to process everything. I sought professional help from a therapist. I spent a lot of time at church. And I also did a lot of work myself because I was fighting for my life, but obviously if you've just gone through something big, because again, we all have that big moment, so if you've just gone through something, of course that's okay. You have to take time to process your emotions. um there's just a lot you have to deal with, but eventually you're going to find that you're going to have to make the decision whether or not you're going to allow this event to stunt your greatness, or if you're going to use it to push you forward. And I'm sure I can use my story as an excuse. If I decided to give up, I feel like people would be like, okay, you know what? I get it. Like, she went through something really big and that's really sad. But for me, I just feel like I'm not going to go out like that, Um, although I haven't always known what my purpose is, I've always been very um, aware that I'm here to do something. I mean, we all are. Excuse me, I'm grabbing some water. And eventually I really just had to decide, am I going to let this depression consume me, or am I going to um, pick myself back up and try really hard to continue to walk in my purpose and figure out what that thing is so that I can do what it is that I'm meant to do here. And your pain is definitely valid, but it's your choice if you're going to be the victim or the victor. You're either going to rise above or you're going to sink. You're going to have to make that choice eventually. Victim or victor, you're going to have to choose. And it may take some time to make that decision. You have to go through your normal stages of grief or anger, sadness, whatever, depending on the situation that you went through. You're human, so you do have to go through the process. But if you do want to move forward, you will have to choose eventually. And those tough moments are what build character. These experiences help us to grow, and most importantly, they are the ingredients of this whole like messy story that you can use to help other people. I was talking to one of my friends the other day, and I believe she's here, but I was like, man, like between the two of us, we've both gone through enough trauma to really help some people, because at the end of the day, it's not about us. It's about being of service to other people and helping people who have gone through similar struggles as you, helping them to overcome it, whatever that struggle may be. Sometimes it can be a personal struggle. Sometimes it can be a business related struggle. Sometimes it can be school, but there's some kind of struggle you went through that you can assist other people to get through as well. Because you didn't go through that struggle for no reason. You're not being punished by God or, the universe or whatever you may believe in. It's just all the part of this thing called life here. So I have a quote for you because I love quotes, and I call these Janelle's Gems. And this quote is by Charles Swindoll. Life is 10% what happens to you and 90% how you react to it. And I am a total believer of that because, as I mentioned, we can't always control what happens, but we can control how we react to things, you know? And I don't know if you guys can see these slides, but if you guys do want any of these quotes, like I said, I can always email this to you if you need me to, or I can tweet them to you, whatever you need me to do. But I love this quote so much, and I need it to sink in. Life is 10% what happens to you and 90% how you react to it. And we're starting off deep here because if you can master this and make peace with your past and understand that your current circumstance doesn't mean that you're not able to be and have the things you want, then you're golden. Like, the world is your oyster. What I'm trying to help you do here is get rid of that victim mindset that a lot of us have. A lot of us are out here being victims. And there's no reason for us to be, you know. Again, process what you got to go through, but don't let it consume you. Don't let it hold you back. And I don't know if you guys can see the slide, but I wanted to show you guys my auntie Oprah. I think you guys have heard of her, Oprah Winfrey. But when I look at her, to me, she is just the face of Pierce. I'm gonna say this wrong. This is when people realize I'm an immigrant. She is for me the face of perseverance. I have to break it down and say it slow. Because for me, oh, you guys can see the slides. Okay, perfect. You know, this was a young Black girl who was born and raised in like the backwoods of Mississippi. I mean, there's nothing about her beginnings that lends itself to her being this um, media conglomerate. You know what I mean? I mean, this lady is a billionaire. The woman who was born like on like a farm or, you know, whatever the heck. We went to, me and my best friend, we went to her what was it called, Live What You Life tour last year, and she talked about putting clothes on the line with her grandma, because her grandma, you know, would wash clothes and, you know, stuff like that. She was a maid or something like that. And her grandma said to her something along the lines of, when she grows up, she hopes that she finds some good white people to work for, or, you know, something like that. And as a young girl, Oprah was like, yeah, no, you know, at an early age, she made the decision that although her circumstances were not the best, she made the decision that she was going to be something amazing. Although she didn't know what that something was, she made the choice that her current circumstances were not going to define her. And that's what I'm talking about, guys. It all begins with choice. Anyone who is successful, they all made a choice to be. You know, they're not out here just winning by accident. They all made a decision. And I mean, she's just been through, you know, so many things, and I'm sure you guys know a lot about Oprah's story, but she's overcome a lot, you know. So when I see someone like her or other people in my family, even some of my friends, you know, they've been through so much, yet they haven't used those experiences as excuses. They just haven't. And so if you're using your story as an excuse to keep yourself comfortable and as an excuse not to move forward, you really have to cut that out, because it's not helping you at all. And then if you guys can see these slides, I did want to include some pictures of me and Auntie Oprah, just in case you guys don't believe that's really my aunt. But so I'm kidding here, but these are actually pictures from when my husband and I went to Madame Tussauds on our date night. And I had to get these pictures because I'm super into my vision boards and stuff like that. And what you visualize materializes. So I've always, in my heart, I feel like, no, let me switch my words. In my heart, I know for sure that I'm going to be on Super Soul Sunday with Oprah. And so these pictures help me to visualize that and make it even more real in my head, right? And even though people might think I'm crazy or don't believe in me, you know, that's okay, because listen, we all have our dreams and they're real to us. And most of the times they do happen if you believe hard enough, right? So whatever you visualize materializes. And I mean, I can get into oh, Jesus Christ, immigrant now. I can get into you know what? Let's skip that. Visualization, yes. I can probably teach you guys a whole webinar on that, because it's such a powerful process. And if you learn how to do it, you will attract anything into your life, right? But we'll get into that another time. And so I have another quote for you guys, another one of Janelle's gems. You are not a product of your circumstances. You are a product of your decisions. Just let that one sink in for a little bit. So a perfect example for this, I knew these two boys that grew up in a pretty tough situation, and they were adopted by their, I don't know if she formally adopted them, but they were taken in by their aunt who, you know, she saw that they were struggling and their parents couldn't provide for them. She took them in and, you know, made sure they were in school and made sure they were doing certain things. So you have these two boys who grew up in the same exact house, same exact circumstances, were both quote unquote rescued at the same time. However, one of them, you know, he stayed in school, he did what he was supposed to do, you know, has a pretty decent, you know, regular job, and, you know, living a pretty average life. Can't really complain too much, based on the decisions he made. And then his brother is currently doing a 20-year sentence in jail, you know? Same home, same circumstances. However, two completely different set of choices. You know, although they grew up in the same everything, two different choices. And so that's what I really want you to understand, is how big of a role your own choices are making in your life. Because a lot of us, again, feel like life is just happening to us, not realizing that a lot of the things that or where we currently are, again, is a result of a lot of choices that we've made that now have created our our reality. You know, life is not just happening to you. That's not how it works. But most people don't understand that. You know, even just now, on the way back from South Florida, I was in the gas station with this girl, and she was talking about how she didn't have money to make to buy Christmas gifts until she gets paid. And she's like, you know what, you know, that's just how life is. Can't do anything about it. And I wanted to shake her and be like, come to my webinar, you know, because we all, a lot of us have that mentality that, you know, this is just what it is, not realizing like you have a big part to play in where you are right this moment. Much bigger of a role than you realize. So now that we are done with the heavy stuff, because I know you guys came to set some goals and stuff like that, we can get to the fun part. So thank you so much for sticking it out with me so far, with the technical issues and whatever else is going on. And I know we got a little heavy in the first section, but I had to go there because, again, you can't move forward until you acknowledge your past, make peace with it. But let's get to the manifestation stuff, right? Oh, my slides are working. Okay, cool. Thanks, Desiree. Okay, guys, so this section is called the glow up, right? Because this is where we're going to talk about all the fun stuff and talk about our goals and all the things we're trying to do and how to get it. So, oh, are we not working? Okay, here we go. All right, so one of the things I want you guys to practice in the new year is being more intentional about the things you want and stop being so wishy-washy about it, because a lot of us do that. So, for example, I want you guys to try this going forward. Stop saying I want to and start saying I'm going to. And this sounds really simple, but if you are aware of this and you correct yourself, you're going to start realizing that you're going to be accomplishing a lot more because you're setting the intention. When you say I want to, you're basically wishing for something. You don't have a real plan. You're fantasizing without putting any action behind it. And that's why a lot of the things that we're saying we want to do, we haven't accomplished. That's why we keep setting the same goal of losing 20 pounds every single new year, because we're wishing for it. We're not really setting the intention that we're actually really going to do it, you know? Sorry, guys, what is wrong with this? Okay, so the key to the glow up is making the decision to change your life and making your desires greater than your fears. It all starts with your personal choice to be great, or if you want to remain basic and in the struggle, you will stay there. Again, and that's by choice. It's all on you. So are you going to keep wishing for things, or are you going to actually do it? You have to make the decision. If you talk to anyone who you consider to be successful, it started with a decision. Most of the time they hit rock bottom or something occurs and they're like, you know what, girl, this is it. I'm tired. Something needs to change going forward, right? I know a lot of entrepreneurs that I've met, they were just honestly tired of being broke. And so they said, you know what, in order for me to not be broke, I have to take control of my life and I need to make a change here. I need to do something different. And then they started a business. Or a lot of them, you know what, I really hate this 9-to-5 cubicle life. I have to make a decision and do something else. But it all starts with the decision, you guys. I can go on and on about examples, but that's what it starts with, the decision. You're either going to get fed up or you're going to hit rock bottom, but something is going to force you to make a choice. And you're either going to step up to the plate, or you're going to play small and you're going to continue to convince yourself that your current situation isn't that bad. How many of us do that? Oh, it's not that bad, you know, when really deep down you have things that you want to do and you have things you want to accomplish. But a lot of us romanticize our current situation because we don't want to feel the discomfort of growth, not realizing that the magic is in the discomfort. If you want your life to change, you have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable, because that's how you grow. Get comfortable with being uncomfortable. You cannot grow without changing. You just can't. And you can't grow without taking risks. It's either you're going to take the risk or you're going to be stuck. But that's your choice. You got to pick A or you got to pick B. Which one is it going to be? You want to be stuck or you want to move forward? There's no reason why you can't have or be anything that you want to be, except for you getting stuck in your own way through your own limiting beliefs, excuses, or lack of faith in yourself. I'm just going to let this sit here for a second, and I need you guys to let this sink in. I need you to read this like a million times, because we all do this. I'm going to read it again for you guys. There is no real reason why you can't have or be anything you want to be, except for you getting in your own way through your limiting beliefs, excuses, or lack of faith in yourself. And Pamela, I love your comment. I'm ready for the glow up. There's nothing sexy about being broke. Sure isn't. I love that. But yeah, guys, is this sinking in for you guys? Are you guys really getting this? Right? An example here, I was talking to a friend of mine the other day, and she was saying that she wants to do hair. And she's good at it. She's passionate about it. She has dreams of opening up her own shop one day. And just talking to her about hair, her eyes were just lighting up. And I was like, you know, all you got to do is, because I'm all about when someone tells me what their goals are, I'm really good at providing clarity, and I'm really good at helping them create actionable steps that they can take to get moving forward. Because I'm all about, you know, like, let's go. Like, because I gotta stop saying the universe rewards speed. If you sit here and you think about it and you know, then you start to talk yourself out of things, you're not going to get anything done. But if you have an idea, especially, you know, her, like, she's been thinking about this for years and just hasn't done it. And like I said, she was so passionate about it. She told me she wanted to open up her own shop, like I said, and do her own products, all this stuff. So I'm like, hey, you know, Google this, get your license so you can get in a shop part-time when you're not at work, and then build up your clientele. So while you're still, you know, at your 9 to 5, then you can eventually open up your shop. And then she was like super pumped about it. And then she like kind of looked down, and I was like, what's wrong? And she was like, no, you don't think I'm too old to just be starting out? And I'm just like, girl, what are you saying right now? You know, and we do this to ourselves a lot. We're so talented, we're so smart, we're such great human beings, and so capable of doing the things that we want to do. You know, like her, she's more than capable of being an amazing hairstylist and a great business owner. But then we have this you know, we self-sabotage, and we have these terrible conversations with ourselves where we convince ourselves that we can't do certain things. You know, it's never too late for you to try something. You're not too old, you're not too fat, you're not too this, you're not too that. Like, you know, we really have to start telling ourselves these things. And she was like, man, you know, I really think I'm too old to just be starting out. And I'm like, girl, Jenny Craig didn't start her business until she was 50. And she's doing quite all right. You know, she's a millionaire. We all have different timelines. And we have to stop convincing ourselves that we don't have what it takes to be great. And we have to stop convincing ourselves that we don't have what it takes to accomplish these dreams that we were given. Because, did I include this as a gem in here? I don't even know. But I'm just going to go ahead and share the quote anyway. But you wouldn't be given these dreams or these aspirations if you didn't have the capability to make it happen. And I need you to let that sink in as well. Because we're all assigned specific goals and dreams and things like that. We all have different things that we're trying to do. We don't all want the same things. I don't want the same things as my friends. They don't want the same things as me. You know, my cousin is doing something else. My friends are doing something different. We don't all want the same things. However, what we do want is a dream that has been given to us, and we wouldn't have gotten that dream unless we could do it. But we're not giving ourselves enough credit. And so I want you guys to think, what do you really want? When was the last time you really allowed yourself to really dream? When was the last time you made time to check in with your purpose and your passions? Are you on a path that correlates with what you really want to do and who you really want to be? When was the last time you really thought about it? Is the job you're working now, does that have anything to do with your talents? Does it have anything to do with where you really want to be in your career? What do you really want? If you don't know what you want, you need to spend time with yourself to figure that out. And this is, you know, no pressure. We come to, you know, learn things about ourselves at different times. So I'm not saying that within the next 24 hours you need to figure out who you want to be, where you want to live, how much you want to make, but you will have to do it eventually. Soul searching is required if you intend to live a life of purpose and authenticity. You will have to sit and try to figure it out eventually. Again, I'm not your mom. I'm not God. I'm not telling you you have to do anything right this second. But if you are living a life that you don't love, then eventually you will have to do the work to figure out what it is that makes you happy. And don't make goals based on things you think you should want or based on what is expected of you from your friends, your family, or society. A lot of times you won't accomplish these goals because you don't have the passion to make it happen. In the event that you do make it happen, you will still be left feeling unfulfilled because it wasn't something that made you come alive. It likely wasn't aligned with your passions or purpose. How many of us are out here still living for our parents even though we're grown and out the house? I know so many people who are in careers that they don't even like because that's what their parents expected of them, or that's what their culture expected of them, right? And so on the outside looking in, it may look like these people are really successful, but on the inside, they're miserable because they don't even want the things that they have. It's, they're not passionate about it. They don't care about it. So this is why it's important for you to make goals that you actually want to accomplish. Goals and intentions that light a fire within you. Goals that keep showing up in your life over and over. You have to be true to yourself. I know for me personally, Jolie Bloom, when I got that idea, I was like, there's no way I can create a skincare brand. Like, at the time I was a stay-at-home mom to a newborn. I'm like, I don't have the capabilities. I don't have the money. There's no way for me to do this. But I would dream about it almost every single night. It would not leave me alone. It would haunt me. And we all have those things that just keep showing up, but we're so scared. We're so scared to do it. We're fearful. We're talking ourselves out of stuff. We're self-sabotaging ourselves. We really got to cut that out, you guys. Don't get so caught up in the everyday of life that you don't acknowledge your passions or your purpose. You're doing a disservice to yourself and to God when you make the choice to put your gift on the back burner. We all have a gift. Even if you don't think you have one, you have one. If you don't know what it is now, you will discover it because it's going to keep showing up. It's going to kind of be like, as my auntie Oprah says, it's kind of like a little pebble at first. And, it may just be an idea, a thought, and then you might start to ignore it, and then it gets louder, and then eventually that pebble turns into a brick until you can't ignore it anymore. Because we all have stuff that we're supposed to do, you guys. We all have talents. Even if you don't think you're talented, you have some kind of talent, you have some kind of gift that you're supposed to be giving to the world, or to, and it doesn't have to be a huge thing. It may be you're meant to be something amazing within your community, something amazing at your job, something amazing within your group of friends. I'm not saying that we're all going to be Oprah or we're all going to be Beyonce and do things on a global level, but there is some kind of gift that you have that you're meant to share with people, because that's what a gift is, right? It's not for you. It's for you to give to other people, because again, it's not about us. It's about us helping other people. And guys, this is a big one. Don't let social media be a driving force in the goals that you're setting for yourself. Social media, Instagram especially, is a highlight reel of people's lives. Okay? It's like a movie trailer. They're just showing you all the good stuff. It's not the whole story, and most of the time, it's not even the truth. So if you find yourself on Instagram, like a lot of us do, and you're on some girl's page and she's on vacation every single week, and you're stuck in your cubicle and you're just like, you're just mad for no reason, that's your ego, and you have to check your ego and you have to focus on yourself. Because if that's the life that you want, to be able to go on vacation all the time, you can absolutely create a life. And maybe you don't even really want that life, but because you're seeing it so much, your ego starts, talking to you, and now you're throwing yourself off purpose, and now you're creating goals that you don't even really want. I know Yes, you have to, like Donette says, you have to log off, you have to disconnect, and you have to ask yourself what you really want and go after it. Because, guys, and Donette and I were talking about this the other day. She has an amazing brand called Nubian Hair. Oh gosh, what is wrong with me? Nubian Hair Oasis.com. I'm actually going to be ordering from her once I'm done with this. But she sells amazing hair, right? And there are lots of girls who sell hair. And she's super passionate about what she does. When I talk to her, I can tell she really cares about what she does. She really cares about her customers. She's all about her business. But there are so many girls on here selling hair that don't really care about it. But because they see the girls who are out here selling hair and they're out here, you know, projecting a certain lifestyle on Instagram, they're like, okay, well, maybe I need to start selling hair too, when that has nothing to do with their purpose. Okay? And yes, sometimes you do need to unfollow celebrities. I mean, there are certain bloggers that I'm like, I need to unfollow her right now, because on a down day when I'm feeling like my blog isn't getting anywhere and I'm seeing the same girls getting the same opportunities over and over and traveling all over the world, you know, my ego comes in and I have to check my ego and I have to focus on myself. And so part of that is unfollowing certain people. You do have to do that sometimes. I totally agree. And here's another one of Janelle's gems, you guys. Success and celebrity are not the same thing. I know we're in a celebrity obsessed culture. Everybody's out here trying to be somebody. Instagram has just made it 10 times worse. But guys, success and celebrity are not the same thing. A lot of celebrities who are miserable, and there are a lot of people who are successful and out here as billionaires, and they're not celebrities. They're not the same thing. And as Mattiology, who's one of my favorite bloggers, it's not about likes, it's about legacy. Focus on yourself, you guys. All these likes and stuff aren't paying your bills. Maybe if you're an influencer, okay, fine. You know, if you have a certain amount of Instagram followers and things like that, brands will pay you money to post certain things. But even so, that's not your real life, you know, because you're setting up your flat lays, you're positioning things and making it super beautiful. It's not real life, you guys. So please, 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 don't get caught up in comparing yourself to people on Instagram and, you know, other people on the internet and stuff like that, because when they log off, girl, you have no idea what their lives are really like. And I know it sounds really cliche, you know, about comparison is the theft of joy and stuff like that, but that's real. And it's really hard for us, especially in, you know, 2015 with social media. And, you know, everyone's life just looks like it was curated on Pinterest. And, you know, we're just out here struggling, trying to keep the lights on. So, guys, cut it out. And yes, it's hard. I'm not saying it's super easy, but just be aware of it, you know, going forward. So here's the thing. You ask for what you want, and you have to declare that you're going to get it. And this is where a lot of people get stuck. Do not get caught up in trying to figure out how your dreams are going to happen. The how is not important, because you would not have been gifted this dream or this goal unless you were and have the capabilities within yourself to make it happen. A lot of us are taking ourselves out of the game before we even get started because we're so concerned with how things are going to happen. I have a group training that I want to do, and the amount of money that it's going to cost me, I do not have right this second, but in my heart of hearts, I know I'm going to be in that program. Why? Because I wouldn't have that dream if it wasn't meant for me, right? For example, I I had a coworker the other day. I was talking to her. I was actually talking to her about my webinar, and you know, because I try to keep things positive at work and stuff like that. And she told me about this dream that she had where she was trapped and this like whole thing. And I was like, you don't want to work here. That's why you have that's why you're having this dream. You feel stuck, like you don't have any other options. And she goes, yeah. And I'm like, okay, so what do you want then? You know, I would love to make an extra 30 grand a year. So I'm like, okay, what's the problem? Why can't you make an extra 30 grand a year if that's what you want to make? You're not stuck here. You know what I mean? Like, a job is a job. And so I started speaking to her about, decide what you want to do. And that way you can start to attract things to yourself. But, a lot of times when you start talking like that, people think you're on your hippie shit. They think that, you're out here, dancing with the universe at night and stuff like that. Not realizing that you have the power within yourself to create whatever it is that you want. So for her, making an extra 30 grand is just so impossible when it's really not. I'm like, if that's what you really want to do, set the intention. You already have a specific number, which that's half the battle right there, because she's super intentional. She has that number. So I'm like, if you know that's the number you want to make, hold on to that number, because you never know what can happen. Somebody may come into your life that's like, at this place we're looking for a certain amount of people, and this is what it pays. And it may be the extra $30,000. Or it could be she may get promoted at work and make an extra $30,000. You know what I mean? You never know what can happen. And again, a lot of y'all are doing this. Like, y'all have me over here doing the hand clap. Because you're so concerned with how something is going to happen, you're not even letting yourself have the dream, you guys. You're not even letting yourself think that it's possible when it really is. You're thinking too small. You're limiting yourself. And some people keep saying, oh, I have to be realistic. Guys, to me, realistic and limits are the same words. And I don't do limits. And you shouldn't either. Because you're more than capable of having whatever it is you want. I mean, for Christ's sake, an extra 30 grand, we live in America. You know what I'm saying? It's not impossible if you really want it. If you set the intention, if you, decide that this is what you really want and you're going to go after it, right? A lot of us, like someone said, yep, a lot of us are over here overthinking things. Guys, it's not that serious. All you got to do is ask for it, right? Stop getting caught in the how. It's not for you to decide how your dream is going to happen. All you have to decide is that you are going to have that dream. Like, I am going to be on Super Soul Sunday. I don't know how it's going to happen. I don't know how I'm going to meet Oprah or her assistant or somebody that's going to make the connection for me to go on there. But I know it's going to happen, and nobody can tell me different. You know what I mean? Stop getting caught up in the how. And a lot of things that we want really aren't that, it's not that complex, you guys. It's really not. And it's not impossible. We're getting caught up in the how, and we're getting caught up in, oh, I don't have the money to do that, which now I have the perfect story to share with you guys. 1 second. But don't allow money to be a factor when creating your dreams. Stop allowing your limiting beliefs about money to keep you small. How many of you guys are doing that? You have a dream and then you're like, nope, I can't do it because I can't afford it. If you've gone through that, go ahead and type that in the comments. All right, guys. So I want to share this story with you about how about when I went to California. I think I went in February. So at the time, I was a stay-at-home mom back in February, and I was running my business, which it's a small business. I'm not, Carol's daughter out here. I get my sales, but I'm not out here doing Sephora numbers, right? And I get this email being invited to participate in Oscar gifting lounge with my brand. And so at first I thought this was a complete joke because I'm like, don't nobody know me. Who's over here playing in my inbox talking about come to Beverly Hills and be in this event? I checked it out. It ended up being legit. I spoke to the person and she was like, I would love for you to come out there. I think it'll be a really good launching pad for your business. I love what you're doing. I love that you started this business in memory of your daughter and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, cool, but how much is this going to cost me? And she hit me with a number and I was like, no, I won't be there because I don't have it like that, right? But deep down inside, I wanted to go. I wanted to go so bad. But to me, as a stay-at-home mom, there was no way that I could financially afford to do what this lady was asking me to do. And so I let it go for maybe like a couple hours and I was like, man, like I got off, I told her no. I got off the phone with her and I was like, damn, like, I would really like to do that, but I can't. There's no way, in my humble situation that I'm going to be able to go to no damn Beverly Hills, pay this for a space, have somewhere to stay, have food to eat, have a car to get around, And so I let it go, and she ended up calling me back, and she's like, listen, Janelle, I really want you to be there. And I probably shouldn't share this publicly, but she cut me a break on the price, a major break on the price. And I had just enough to pay her for my spot. And so I sat there and I'm like, do you really want this or not? Talking to myself. And self said, yes, Janelle, you really want this, and this would be great for your business. So I put aside my fear and I said, okay, let me go ahead and pay for my spot. So I went and paid for my spot at this event before I had money for a ticket, before I knew where I was staying, before I knew how I was going to eat. But I believed that I was supposed to be there so bad, and I knew that it was meant for me, that I decided I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to take this chance on myself because I deserve to have this moment. And not in an egotistical way, but I knew this would not have happened to me, or I would not have been presented with this opportunity unless I was meant to be there, right? And I'm not going to say I wasn't stressed because I was so stressed out trying to figure out how I was going to make this happen, but I just knew that somehow it was going to happen. And so, like I said, she cut me a break on the space for the event. Then I'm like, then I got into action because, again, the universe rewards action. Then I'm like, okay, how am I going to get there? And somehow I tried, find all my connects with people that worked with airlines or the airport. My aunt was able to get me a buddy pass to go one way. So then I only had to pay for my. So I'm like, okay, well, if I have the one way I'm like, all I really got to do is get to LA and I'll figure out how to come back home later because I didn't have a job. So I'm like, I don't have to be in a rush anyway, right? So I went ahead and booked the buddy pass to get there. Then I'm like, oh my gosh, how am I going to get around LA? Then, okay, I'm like, okay, resources. Okay, and if you guys follow my Instagram and my blog and stuff, I work with a company called Drive Shop, and they provide me with cars to test drive and write about. So I contacted her. I'm like, hey, I'm going to LA for this certain amount of time. Would you be able to provide me a media loan? Cool, no problem. So now I have a way to get to LA, and I have a free ride to get around that all I got to do is put gas in. So now I'm like, okay, I can get there. I have a car. Where am I sleeping? And I stressed and I stressed and I stressed. And I couldn't figure, because I'm like, oh, I can't afford to stay at these hotels. Like, these prices were crazy to stay in LA. And somehow I I figured, okay, well, I got to at least book my ticket back. I was able to get some help with that. And 3 days before I was supposed to leave, when I'm stressing out about where I'm going to sleep when I get to LA, my friend or a previous coworker who I hadn't spoken to in months, she hit me up and she was like, what are you doing? And I'm like, girl, I have to be in LA in 3 days. I don't know where I'm going to sleep. Yada, yada, yada. She's like, okay, what are the dates that you're going? And I'm like, oh, such and such and such. Turns out she had a friend that works for the Marriott, and she was able to get me a discount where I only had to pay $30 a night for my room. And so in sharing this story, what I want you to understand is that out of no way, a way can be created for you if you believe hard enough in what you're trying to do. I knew I was supposed to go to LA, and somehow, by the grace of God, all these things started falling into place that I couldn't even see how they were going to happen when I gave the lady my money to go. Somehow, my flight was taken care of. I had a car to get around, and I was able to stay in a hotel for next to nothing. And it was a pretty nice hotel. I only had to pay $30 a night, which, I was like, oh my gosh, well, I can afford this, And so that's why I want you guys, when it comes to certain goals that you have, don't let money be the reason that you don't allow yourself to have that dream, because the money will come if you're meant to do this. Yes, that was all God, because girl, I was praying and praying and praying, and and at the same time, I had faith in myself that this was going to happen. If I didn't have faith in myself, I wouldn't have even booked the table for my spot, right? And Martin Luther King Jr., he has this awesome quote. I'm probably going to say it wrong, but it's something along the lines of, you don't have to see the whole staircase to take the first step. Something like that, right? Because a lot of times, again, we're so concerned in the how. We want to know how we're going to get from point A to B, not realizing if we just say, I'm going to get to B no matter what, a way will be created for us, you guys. If something is meant for you, it's going to happen. But you got to work. You got to work with God. You got to work with the universe. Like you're co-creating your life with the powers that be. You have to do your work also. Because if I was just like, man, this isn't going to happen, it wouldn't have happened. But I was like, this is meant for me. And I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to take this risk. I'm going to give this lady my money, not knowing where I'm going to sleep, where I'm going to eat, how I'm going to get around. But I went ahead. I did it anyway. And it all worked out, guys. Stop letting money be the reason why you don't dream. If you want a house and you're like, man, I don't have the money for that, stop selling yourself short. If you want to go back to school and you're not doing it because money is the reason, cut it out. If there's something you want to do and money is the issue, you guys, don't let it limit you. It will come. And again, this is not some fairy tale stuff. This is real life. If it's meant for you, it will come. If you want it bad enough. Because if you're like, oh, you know what? It's not going to happen. I give up. Then, yeah, you're not going to get it. But again, you have to believe in yourself, and you have to believe that the universe, God, whoever you believe in, is going to go ahead and assist you in making a way. And so, guys, you have to ask, you have to believe, and you'll receive. The reason why I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt that you can have or be anything is because it's fact. I'm not making this stuff up, you guys. Once you make the decision to change your life, once you declare what you want, and once you believe it wholeheartedly, you will receive it, because you're attracting everything that's happening in your life. I attracted all those things. I attracted the free plane ticket. I attracted my friend that I hadn't talked to in months to randomly hit me up and tell me that she had a hookup at the Marriott. I attracted that. You know what I'm saying, you guys? But you can't just ask for things and you don't believe it, because then you can't have it. You know, A lot of reasons why we're not getting the stuff that we're asking for is because we don't even believe what we're asking for. We don't even believe in what we're praying for. We don't believe in what we're manifesting. We're just saying it. And again, that's wishing. You're not manifesting it. You're just wishing for it. You know, because when you believe in something, the ideas come, the circumstances come into your life, the people come into your life that are going to help you make this happen. Whatever this thing is that you want, it will come to you if you actually believe in what you're asking for. If you're asking for something and your actions don't match what you're asking for, how are you going to get it? If you're saying, for the 5th year in a row, I want to lose 50 pounds in a new year, your actions don't match what you're asking for, you can't receive it. Because, guys, you have to do your part. You have to work with God. You have to work with the universe, right? You're co-creating your life. So you have to actually believe in what you're saying, and your actions have to match what you're asking for. The positive thinker sees the invisible, feels the intangible, and achieves the impossible. You have to keep positive. When your mind is telling you you can't do something, that's a negative thought. You need to rebuke that. You need to get it out of here, you guys. We have to shut down the negative self-talk because it's keeping us back and it's keeping us small. You are a magnet. You've attracted everything into your life, from the people that you're dating, to the friends you have, to the job where you work, to the amount of money you have or don't have, the car you drive, the drama in your life, the peace in your life. You are attracting all of that through your energy. If you don't believe that you can do something, then you won't. Not because you aren't smart enough or capable enough, but because you've said or thought that you can or can't. And so that's the energy that you're bringing to yourself. If you believe that you can, then you're operating in a space of positivity that will attract positive people and circumstances in your life that will help bring your dream to fruition. Okay? Just like I attracted someone who was able to get me a ticket, someone who was able to allow me to assist me with, getting a discount to stay in LA. So again, this is why blaming others for your circumstances is pointless. Because if you don't have something, that's due to your lack of gumption, which is my vocabulary word of the week, by the way. Gumption is spirited initiative and resourcefulness. And y'all need to highlight resourcefulness. Because when you want something, you have to find the resources. Again, like my LA story, I pay for the ticket. Next thing I need to do is figure out how I'm going to get there. Who can I call that has a link somewhere at an airport or an airline? I sought that out. I went ahead. I already had a connection with with getting free cars. I sought that out. The only thing I really didn't have was a place to stay, and I couldn't afford these expensive ass hotels in LA. But because I had the spirited initiative, and because I believed in myself, and because my actions matched what I was asking for, and because I believed, then someone came into my life that was able to further assist me in accomplishing what I needed to accomplish. The secret formula to manifesting the life you want is your thoughts, your feelings, and your action. These are the 3 things that need to be in alignment in order for you to manifest your greatest life. Because your thoughts control how you feel, and how you feel dictates if you're in a positive place or a negative place. So your thoughts and feelings need to be in check always, as much as possible. And yes, some days are harder than others. I totally understand. But you really can just shift your mindset if you try hard enough. And depending on what your mindset is for the day, that's going to determine the actions that you take or the actions you don't take. Thoughts become things. That's one of my favorite quotes. That's in The Secret, and that is Bible to me. Thoughts become things. All right, you guys. So we're going to move into the last section here. And that's called How to Get It. How are you guys feeling so far about what we're talking about? Do you guys have any stories about manifestation or anything like that? And if you do, I'll actually be contacting you because I want to do a manifestation series on my blog where we can all share different things that we've manifested into our lives. And the thing is that you are manifesting things into your life daily, whether or not you're aware of it. But once you become aware of it, that's where the magic happens, and that's when you start to see things turning around. Because you're not operating from a space of life is just happening to me. You're realizing that you're creating your reality as well. All right, so we're going to get into the last section here, guys, and then I will release you because it's Sunday, and I don't know if you guys have Sunday dinner plan or whatever, but we're going to talk about how to get it, right? So the first section, we decided we're going to cut out the excuses. We're not going to use the past to hold us back. In the second section, the glow up, we talked about, you know, what we need to, the mindset shift that we need to have. And then now we're going to talk about how to get it, whatever your it is, whether your it is financial freedom or changing your job or losing weight, whatever your it is. Now we're going to discuss how to do it, right? So here's the big secret to shifting your goals from idea to dream to reality. And you probably see it because you can see my screen. Strategy. This is the big secret because a lot of us have goals and a lot of us have dreams, but we don't have a strategy. And although the universe is willing to work with us, guys, we have to still go about it in a way that makes sense because you have to work with the universe, right? Because you're co-creating your life. So this is the thing that a lot of people are missing. It's the strategy. Either you don't have a strategy or your strategy sucks and you need to revisit it. And then I just have this quote by Bay. Honestly, I just wanted to find a reason to put him in here. But this quote I really, really like. And this was in, if you guys have Netflix, Idris Elba has this awesome documentary about when he was making the Mandela film, and this is great. I'm seeing you as anonymous, so if you could tell me what your name is, the person who's looking to do the I'm thinking that's Mel, because Mel, you do finance, right? And I know you're West Indian, so that makes sense that you'd want to do something in Grenada. So Mel, if that's you that's telling me about manifesting the workshop, just let me know. But that will happen. If you're meant to do that and you believe wholeheartedly that that's what you're meant to do, it's totally going to happen. So I wanted to quickly share this quote. The key to ambition is strategy. Ambition without strategy is useless, you guys. You ever notice there's like so many people who aren't as talented as another person, but they're making more moves than the other person only because their strategy is better. Not because they're more talented or because they have a hookup. Hi, Melissa. Yes, I figured that was you. Thank you so much for being here. It's strategy, you guys. Like, there can be two people who want to do the same thing. Person A is not as good as person B, but person A gets busy. Person A is like, this is what I really want to do. Let me figure out how to do it and make these moves so I can get where I need to go. And person B, while they have all the talent in the world, they have no strategy. So they're stuck. Guys, strategy, strategy, strategy. Like, that is the word of 2016. So because you are the co-creator of your life, you have to work with the universe to bring your dreams to fruition. By declaring what you want and believing, people and circumstances will come into your life that will be able to assist you in making the dream come true. this may appear in the form of ideas you've never had before, or people who may be connected, or people who may serve as mentors for you. But you have to set the intention and create the strategy and go from there. And I mentioned this to the people who were at my at me and Bianca's Christmas sweater party, but I declared a number that I want to make next year. And in order for me to go ahead and hit this number, I'm going to have to do things that I've never done before. I'm going to have to learn things that I don't know. And this person, in order for me to do that, I need to have someone who's been there, right? And so that they can assist me with creating a strategy. Let's say my number is 30 grand. I can't just say I want to make 30 grand. It's okay, what am I going to do to make this 30 grand though? You know? And how can I have this person help me create a way to get there? Because again, you have to do the work too. Things don't just fall in your lap. Sometimes they do, most of the time they don't, right? So you have to set the intention and you have to go from there. Wishing for it is not enough. Telling everyone your idea is not enough. The idea of accomplishing your goal is not enough. You need a strategy, and not just any strategy, but you need a good strategy. You need a good one, right? Strategy, strategy, strategy. If you want to lose weight, what's the strategy? What's the number that we're trying to hit? You know, how can we break that down into more manageable tasks? But there has to be a strategy, because I know I've set the intention of losing some weight with no strategy. I just went ahead and wrote it down and had no idea how I was going to do it, so I just never accomplished it. Because how was I going to do that with no strategy? You know what I mean? And again, if you need assistance with, get a mentor or get a coach. They've been where you are now and can help you avoid the mistakes that they've made. They will shorten your learning curve. This is going to save you time and money. Oh my God, I can't tell you how much money I've wasted in my business because I didn't know better. They can assist you with gaining clarity in the areas where you're having challenges. They can assist you with providing you with immediate feedback on your goals or your ideas. And they can help you with structure. Because if you knew everything, you would already be where you aspire to go. So embrace mentorship and invest in yourself if you have to. And maybe for you, this might be a personal trainer. I kill it in the gym when I have a personal trainer because I don't want to do it. But if I have someone there who's pushing me and has worked out a strategy for me to win, I'm going to kill it. But when I just go into the gym and look at the machines and I have no idea what I'm really going, I have no strategy on what I'm going to do. You know, am I going to do upper body today, lower body today, full body? What am I doing? If I just go in there and wing it, I'm going to keep losing. We can't be out here winging it, you guys, because the people who are winning are doing so because they're intentional and they're strategic. And because they are, the universe is on their side, just helping them make stuff happen. The universe is just assisting them and stuff is happening for them. So if you need a little extra help, find you a mentor, hire a coach, and they can, what is that? I'm sorry. And they can go ahead and help you do the things that you need to do. Especially if you're in business, a coach or mentor is so important, you guys, because you could just be out here running an expensive hobby instead of an actual business. Just let that sink in. All right. And then when it comes to your goals, write them down with pen and paper. As my godmother, who you guys may know, Erica Badu, as she says, write it down on real paper with a real pen and watch shit get real. You guys, there's power in the pen. There's a difference between writing something down on paper and writing it on your computer or putting it in the notes in your phone. It's so much more powerful when you actually write it down. It does something to your brain. It's kind of like, you know, when you're in class and you take notes, it helps you to retain the information better, right? And when it comes to your goals, you feel more accountable because you wrote it down. There's just something in your head that clicks and feels like, okay, I need to do this because I wrote it down. Keeping your goal in your head is not going to get it done. A lot of us are doing that, you know, we'll get to it when we get to it. And that's for now. We have a million ideas. And if you're like me, I have a new idea every 15 minutes on a slow day. There's no way I can keep all my goals in my mind and actually accomplish them. It's really possible because I have a new idea again every few minutes, depending on what's going on. Right? So now we're going to talk about how to set value-based with intention. Don't be a slave to your ego. Make sure that your why is based on your value, not your ego. If your goal isn't authentic to you and your desires, they are meaningless. If you're out here deciding that you're going to open up an Instagram boutique that is going to sell waist trainers because you see prima donna out there making millions of dollars and you don't give a damn about waist trainers, you don't even believe in it, you are going to fail. And even if you do succeed in a monetary sense, your spirit will still be unfulfilled because you are operating from a place of ego, not authenticity. Again, you guys, make goals that you actually care about and make sure you know your why. Your why is very important because I think about quitting my business at least twice a month. But because I know what my why is, I'm able to keep going because I know why I'm doing it. Okay? So ask yourself, let's start with goal 1. And if you want to go ahead and try to set a goal now, just one, for example, while we're doing the exercise, you can. If you have a paper and pen and you want to just go through one of your goals with us live in the workshop here, go ahead and do that. But if you don't, you can always catch the replay and then you can go ahead and use this as your breaking down your goals, right? Okay, so ask yourself, what do you want out of life? Write down the top 3 things that mean the most to you in your life. Not material things, but specific things that are meaningful to you on a deeper level. What are your non-negotiables? What are your desires? Do not feel ashamed for wanting things that you require. Okay? If you, for example, for me, one of my non-negotiables is freedom. I want to be able to work from wherever. My goal is my laptop to be in my office. I don't want to be tied down to a certain place. That's my personal non-negotiable. For you, it may be something else, right? And so let's say for me, not wanting to be tied down in an office, that's not a traditional way of thinking. So someone else may feel ashamed for not wanting to go in an office every day. But if that's what you want, it's okay. You know, what do you want? What is important to you? Is it freedom? Is it, you know, a certain amount that you want to make? What is it? You know, and here's a key tip to carry with you. Stop saying I want and start saying I have. And this puts you in a space of already having what you desire. And I practice this all the time. And in that way, it helps me to not be stuck in my current situation. And I know, again, it may sound a little strange, but I promise it works. Another thing you have to ask yourself, what don't I want in my life? Because of how the law of attraction, I don't want to focus on this area too much because we don't want to give it too much energy or it will continue to show up in our lives. However, it's important to know what your boundaries are and what you absolutely will not stand for. Okay? What are your non-negotiables again? if you do not want a 9 to 5, you just don't want to work a 9 to 5. And that's okay. Okay? Who or what in your life at the moment don't support where you want to go or who you want to be? What's taking up your time and keeping you from your goal? You have to figure out these things so you can get rid of all of them. And if it's a person, we got to get rid of that person, because we have stuff that we're trying to do. Okay? So once you decide what all these things are, you got to let these things go and shift your energy towards what you do want. Because a lot of us spend a lot of time focusing on what we don't want. I don't want to be broke. I don't want to be this. I don't want to be that. Not realizing that everything you're saying, every time you're saying, I don't want this, I don't want that, you're actually creating more of it in your life. So what you have to do is shift your thinking to the things that you do want. And stop thinking about what you don't want, because it's going to keep showing up. Every time you keep saying, I don't want to be broke, I don't want to be broke, situations keep showing up in your life that keep you broke, because you're focused on broke. Even though you're saying, I don't want to be, the key word in the sentence is broke. So broke will keep showing up. I don't want to be in debt. Stop talking about debt, or you'll stay in debt. I don't want to be fat. Girl, stop talking about it. Okay? Because it's just going to keep showing up and keep gaining more weight, because that's what you're focused on. Whatever you're focused on the most is what keeps appearing in your life. So if, for example, because we all, have said, I don't want to be broke. If you don't want to be broke, focus on where you're trying to go. Focus on abundance. Focus on prosperity. Focus on where you see yourself in the next year or 2 years, whatever the case may be. Maybe you work a 9 to 5 and you see yourself, running your hair salon. Focus on your hair salon. Imagine yourself running the hair salon. Feel what it would feel like. Focus on that, because that feeling is going to make you feel good. And therefore, you're going to be creating positive vibrations, right? Because thinking about being broke and debt and things like that, that doesn't make you feel good. And when you're not feeling good, then your vibes are bad. And then you're attracting more bad things to yourself. Okay? So focus on what you want, not what you don't want. Anytime you feel yourself, complaining, you got to stop. And again, I know you're human. Some days are harder than others, but try to keep it under control as much as you can. Okay? What are your top 3 priorities in life? Design your work and desires around your priorities. A lot of us have it backwards. A lot of us are designing our families and our free time and our time with the people we want to spend, and our friends and stuff like that. We're working that around work, right? Because work takes up a long, most of our lives. So let's say your priority in life is freedom in your career. That's one of your top 3 priorities. So how can you figure out how to fit work into life? Because your whole life isn't going to be work. Instead of it being the opposite. Maybe your priority is family. Maybe your priority is being financially stable. But you have to figure out what your top 3 priorities are, and then work your desires around your priorities so that they make sense. Because if your let's say your priority is to be you want to visit 20 countries in 2016. Let's say that's your goal. You want to visit 20 countries in 2016, but you have an 8-year-old who's in school, then that doesn't really work, right? So, what's your priorities, guys? And then design everything else around that. Don't create things that aren't going to work on purpose. What are your top 3 goals for 2016? Remember, guys, please allow yourself to see life beyond your circumstances today. Allow yourself to dream. Do not count yourself out before you even let yourself have the dream. Okay? If this is a goal, is this a goal that you want, or is this a goal that is expected of you? If this is not something that you truly want, don't write it down, because you're not going to do it. Are these goals in line with your deepest desires? Do you really want this or not? Or are you just writing down random goals because you feel like, New Year's is coming up and you should just be writing down, some goals to accomplish? That's not going to help you. Again, write down things that mean something to you, things you truly want. Don't worry about what your mom might think or, your friends, things like that. Social media. Be honest with yourself and figure out the things that you want. Don't count yourself out. If you want to go to school and you don't see the money right now, don't get rid of that goal because you don't see the money right now. Stop playing small. Because again, it's not your responsibility right this second to figure out how that goal is going to come to be. You just have to know what's going to happen if it's something that you really want. And for each of these goals, you need to write down why. Why do you want to accomplish each goal? Knowing your why is extremely important because there will be obstacles along the way. You guys, like, you're going to be tested. Even if something is meant for you, you're going to be tested. When I was trying to do that LA thing, I was tested constantly. When I was doing the curl box thing, I was tested constantly. I was missing 300 labels. I couldn't afford to ship the stuff to Atlanta. A million different things. You need tested, you guys. Okay? So that's why it's important for you to figure out why you want to accomplish this. And you going to think about the alternative, which is that life will remain the same. If your goal is to go to school, you need to figure out why. Because something's going to happen. Maybe financial aid isn't going to go through. Maybe you're going to get pushed back a little bit and you're going to want to quit. And then you have to figure out, okay, well, if I don't push and go to school, what's the alternative? Which will be that your life is going to stay the same. So what do you really want? Do you really want to push through and get the goal? Or are you going to convince yourself that life right now is not that bad and you can deal with it? So that you can convince yourself that it's okay to play small. Okay? Your why is what keeps you going, and it's what allows you to help others. And I love this quote by Jay-Z when he says, the genius thing we did is that we never gave up. If you don't give up, you have to eventually hit the goal. If the goal is there and you stop, you're selling yourself short. A lot of us are selling ourselves short because we don't know our why. We don't have our why mapped out. Why do you want to start this business? Why do you want to lose that weight? Why do you want another job? What's the why? Because that's what's going to keep you going. And with each goal, what is the first step that I need in order to achieve each goal so that I can get started? What's the first step? Oh, here's the quote that I was talking about. Faith is taking the first step even when you don't see the whole staircase. I did screw that up earlier, right? But all you got to do is figure out the first step, because now you're taking action. And again, the universe rewards action. What can I do on a monthly basis to make this goal happen? What can I do on a weekly basis? What can I do on a daily basis? Right? Just take the first step. That's all you got to do. You don't have to know how the whole thing is going to play out or how the whole thing is going to come together for you. Just take the first step. Again, with my LA story, I took my first step was, let me pay for this booth, and the rest of it it'll just figure itself out. And it did. Then you have to set the intention. By what date will you achieve this goal? Again, don't sell yourself short. Don't, write down when you want to achieve it by. Stop talking about, oh, I want to be realistic, yada, yada, yada. Because again, for me, realistic means limits. And we have to get rid of all this limiting beliefs that we have. You have to get out of your own way, and you have to allow yourself to dream. Don't worry about being realistic. Write down your deadline for achieving the goal. Create your action plan, which is your strategy that we talked about. Take the first step and let's go. Because you can have whatever it is that you want. But you have to be intentional about it. You have to be very specific, right? If you say, it's not to say, I want to make this amount next year. I want to make more money next year. How much do you want to make? What's the number? What's the exact figure that you want to make? You need to know what that is. Because how are you going to hit a goal? How are you going to hit the mark if you don't know what the mark is? Because again, that's wishy-washy. I want to make more money next year. Okay, cute. What's the number though? And then what's the first step that you can take towards doing that? Is it applying for a new job? Is it starting a business? What's the first step? If you keep saying, oh, I want to lose weight next year, how much? Is it 20 pounds, 30, 50? Put the number down. What are the first steps you need to take? When are you going to knock this out by? You have to get intentional and you have to get specific, because the universe can't help you if it doesn't, there needs to be a start and end. And even if you don't accomplish it by that specific date, you're going to be very close to it because you set the intention and you have something that you're working towards. If you're making 30 grand this year and you want to make 100 grand next year, but you're like, oh, that's unrealistic. No, it ain't. Because I know a girl who was making 30 grand last year at her job. And then she got fed up with her circumstance and she started a business last summer. And she's now making more monthly than what she was taking home per year. So within the last year and a half, she's made 6 figures. When at the beginning of last year, she was making 30 grand for the year at her job. Guys, like, quantum leaps are real. If you believe enough, and if you, again, work in conjunction with the universe. You got to put the work in. You have to actually believe what you're asking for so that you can move in that direction. Okay? Because she was making, let's say January last year, she was making 30, and last month she brought in 52 grand. That was just last month alone. So this year for 2015, she made 6 figures. And she started at the top of last year making 30, which is probably, I don't know, is that like the average yearly salary in America? I don't really know. So guys, they are possible. Don't sell yourself short. Decide when you want it and get busy. And guys, 2016, it's yours. If you want to make stuff happen, 2016 is the year. We have more information, more than, so accessible to us. If you don't know how to do something, that is not an excuse for you not to do it. Okay? Because I decided that I was going to have a personal care brand and make soap before I even knew how to make soap. Okay? I didn't know how to make soap until 3 months before my brand started. Know how I learned how to do it? I have a homegirl, her name is Google, and she kicks it with this guy called YouTube. And between those two, you can learn how to do anything. I learned how to make soap from watching YouTube videos. People think I've been making soap for years. I didn't know anything about soap until 3 months before I launched my brand. But again, I had the dream. It wouldn't leave me alone. And so I got resourceful. How can I learn how to bring this to fruition? How can I? Because I wouldn't have had that dream of starting this brand if I didn't have the capabilities to do it. And that's what I'm saying. Like, maybe you don't know how to do something right now, but use your resources and learn how to do it, because you wouldn't have that dream if you didn't have the brains to figure out how to make it happen. When people tell me they don't know how to do certain things in, 2015, I'm like, well, did you Google it? Did you go on YouTube? Guys, everything is there. There's no excuses. What do you want to learn how to do? Figure it out. There's a million tutorials on YouTube. There really is. And maybe you have a dream of a nurse and you're like, I don't have the money to do it. Again, you need to manifest that money and you need to make it happen, because that dream wouldn't have, you didn't have the smarts to make it happen. For me, guys. How do we work this? Okay, I'm back. All right, guys, so thank you so much for, like, really dark. My lighting looks terrible. But thank you guys so much for sticking it out with me today. I hope you guys really enjoyed this. Let me know what you think. You can write in the comments. You can tweet me, of course, at Belle Janelle. Instagram me. Everything is at Belle Janelle across the board. BelleJeanell. Please let me know what you thought about today's webinar. Again, thank you so much for sticking it out with me. I know we had some technical issues in the beginning, but it looks like we worked it all out, and you guys have been amazing, and this has been interactive just like I planned it to be. So thank you so much for your patience. Thank you for participating. And if you guys have any questions for me before I get out of here, if you do, let me know. I'm reading my, I have the chat up on my phone so I can answer any questions you may have. Is there a hashtag? You can use hashtag wake up and live. Yes, I will be having more webinars. I really want to do a webinar on how to manifest something, like, because you can manifest anything. So I really want to teach you guys. No, don't use the glow up, because the glow up is going to be something else. I already have something planned called the glow up, so don't use that hashtag yet. You can use wake up and live for today. But I do have a webinar coming up called up, so don't use it yet. But yeah, I want to teach you guys how to manifest stuff. There's just so much that I want to share with you guys. I know a lot. One of the things I'm really working on is changing my money mindset so that I can attract more money to me. And once I master that, you guys, I'm totally going to come back and I'm going to teach you guys that, because a lot of us have some very limiting beliefs about money. A lot of it passed down to us from our parents, who, they do the best they can, but it just is what it is. Sometimes you need to unlearn a lot of things that you've been taught in order to do something different in your family, because there's no reason why you can't be, the one who generational wealth in your family, or be the one who, puts your family in a different direction than, what it has been before. Let's see, will you be offering coaching services in the future? I will be. I will. And this webinar was just honestly a great way for me to kind of, test out the content that I have and see if people would be receptive to it. And but I definitely plan on doing some coaching. I've been avoiding it, but it keeps showing up in my life because, again, like I mentioned to you guys, sometimes you have certain dreams that just won't leave you alone. And for me, I literally have dreams. I will dream about certain things, and it will haunt me and haunt me and haunt me until I do it. So I will be I will be offering some services in the future, and I'll share that with you guys probably in the spring. I'm just trying to get through relaunching my blog, which the new look and new everything will be up on January 1st. Yes, and I can't wait to attend your workshop, Melissa. I'm very excited to make sure I'm on your mailing list so that I can go ahead and be a part of that. Does anyone else have any questions or any comments? Do you have a favorite part of today's webinar? Or have ideas for webinars you'd like me to do in the future? You can tweet. Hi, Faye. Thanks for the tweet. You can tweet me or write in the comment box here. But I'm definitely going to be doing more webinars as part of my 2016 strategy, because again, strategy is everything, right? Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thanks for the tweets, guys. Oh my gosh. Thank you. All right. I lost my page. This is not where I need to be. Where am I? Okay. Yes, webinars are a great way to gauge interest. And for anyone who's in business, guys, webinars are the number one way to build your email list. Email list is everything. Like social media is cute, you know, stuff like that, but your email list is everything. That's where magic happens, is in your email list. So thank you guys for all being here. It doesn't look like you guys have any other questions for me. Yes, I can send the slides to you guys if you want. Faye, I'll be sure to send them to you. If anyone else wants the slides, I can go ahead and do that. Just let me know. And there will be a replay. I was gonna have it up for, I think it's gonna be up for 48 hours, the replay. And then it may come back as part of a paid course. So you guys are getting it for free today. And, you know, we love free. But thank you. Thank you so much. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. Anyone else have any questions, comments, concerns, ideas of any future webinars that you'd like me to do? Because I'll be doing plenty next year. So if there's anything you guys want to see or get from me, please let me know. But I think you guys are all done with the comments and questions. Oh my gosh, I've never looked much in my life. But guys, again, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for sticking with me through the technical problems, but I'm so happy that you guys were able to get the information and get all the content, and hopefully get inspired so that when you are creating your New Year's resolutions or your goals, what have you, you're more intentional when you're doing them. You're setting them from a place of authenticity, a place of values, things that are important to you, so that you can, at this time next year, when you knock things off your list, you'll be so excited, you know? And because we really need to stop just creating random goals just because we feel like we should put certain things on our New Year's resolutions list, you know? Like if you don't want to lose weight, don't put it on the list, you know? Like you have to, but a lot of us make that a goal because we feel like we should want to lose weight, you know what I mean? Even though we might actually be quite comfortable with ourselves. But again, you know, society, social media, it gets in our heads, it gets in our ego, and then, you know, we create these goals that we don't even care about. But guys, I think I'm gonna go ahead and let you guys go. I just got back from South Florida like 45 minutes before this webinar started, so I'm very tired and I'm hungry. But thank you guys so much again for coming today. And be sure to pay attention to your emails. The emails from me, if I send them through MailChimp, they'll be in your promotions box if you have Gmail, or they may be in your spam folders, but just be sure to check those because I will have new webinars coming up in the new year. I may even do one before we get out of 2015, an email course as well, and there are going to be lots of live events in 2016. Desiree, who's here somewhere, or maybe she left, I'm not sure, but we're going to be doing something. Yeah, I was in Fort Lauderdale for literally 24 hours, but I didn't even leave my hotel room because I was working on my slides. And again, like when we talk about resources, I didn't know how to use Google Hangouts when I said I was going to do this webinar, and I did figure it out, and then technology happened, and so we had a little bit of issues this morning. But again, you guys, if you want to learn how to do something, Google it, YouTube it, you will learn. But okay, so Desiree and I are going to have an event Valentine's weekend. It will be in Miami. We are hammering out the details now, but I'm setting the intention that it's going to happen. So there's no reason why I shouldn't. But that'll be Valentine's weekend. We're going to have like a girls' day centered around, you know, sisterhood and bonding and things like that. So if you're in the Miami area, or even if you're in Orlando or anywhere in Florida and you want to drive down, it's going to be amazing. So just be sure to look out for the details for that. That'll come up. We'll release that in January sometime, but whatever it is, we're going to kill it, you know, because that's what me and Desiree do, you know. So, all right, guys, I'm going to go. Thank you so much. If you do want the slides, please tweet me or email me. My email is bellejehanel@gmail.com. I'll be more than happy to send you the slides if you like them. And the replay will be up. So if you want to, you know, watch this again and kind of refresh, especially if you have a hard day and, you know, someone's trying you, or it just feels like, you know, things are never going to happen for you, the replay will be up so that you can go ahead and, you know, watch as many times as you'd like, so you can go ahead and, you know, just start your day on the right foot. Personally, I watch The Secret when I'm going to bed, and I let it play while I'm sleeping so that it's working on my subconscious mind. And then I watch it again when I wake up so I can make sure I go into work with a positive attitude. You got to do the work, you know? So I'm going to go, guys. Again, awesome. Can't wait. Yes. All right, guys. Thank you so much. I love you so much. Thank you so much for supporting me on my very first webinar. And when I am on Super Soul Sunday, you guys, I will never forget you. Thank you so much for supporting me. Love you guys. Bye.